I'll be presenting to you on certain important aspects that transpired out at sea during the 3-decade conflict and the humanitarian operation, and specially emphasize on how the Sri Lanka Navy fought an asymmetric war out at sea and countered the terrorists out at sea. Being a maritime nation with a 679 nautical mile coastline around the country, the importance of the sea for Sri Lanka for her survival and way forward needs no further emphasis. It is therefore very important to realize how a terrorist organization like the Liberation Tigers of Tamil Eelam use the seas around us to threaten maritime security, the sea lanes of communication around the island, and the freedom of the seas, which was important to local as well as international shipping. The LTT was the most powerful and ruthless terrorist organization in the world, with a well-developed and well-tested capability for acts of maritime terrorism. The Sea Tigers, which was the sea arm of the LTTE, had a well-structured command organization which had its own attack, logistic and suicide craft squadrons, which were capable of operations even in high seas. The Sea Tigers also had a merchant fleet, which was engaged in various illegal activities through various front companies based in many capitals of the world. The Sea Tigers had also carried out a number of terrorist attacks against naval as well as civilian targets, hijacked ships, engaged in a large-scale gun running, human smuggling, narcotic trafficking, and other crimes at sea. The Sea Tiger activities could be categorized as launching attacks on naval ships and craft at sea, launching attacks on merchant ships that were carrying humanitarian cargo to the affected civilians in north, hindering the sea lift that was executed to sustain the security forces deployed in north, providing much needed logistic support to the LTT through sea route using small boats and large ships, carrying out reconnaissance of harbors and other maritime or coastal installations, using the Sea Tiger suicide frogmen to infiltrate into harbors and anchorages to carry out underwater sabotage, laying mines in tactically important sea areas such as harbor entrances, ferrying injured cargoes and reinforcement cargoes between coastal locations. In the beginning, the Sea Tigers used fiberglass dinghies with multiple outboard motors and carried small arms for protection and attack. These boats were no match for the high-speed and better-equipped Sri Lanka Navy craft. Soon, the LTT realized the need to have much bigger, faster craft with mounted guns. With time, the Sea Tigers developed their craft and were fitted with multiple high-power OBMs, high as 250 horsepower, and 4 such engines coupled together could achieve speeds in excess of 45 knots. These attack craft were fitted with medium caliber weapons such as 12.7 mm, 14.5 and 23 mm twin barrel guns, and carried an assortment of small arms. The different type of craft used by the Sea Tigers are attack craft, logistic craft, suicide craft, semi-submersible craft, low-profile suicide craft, high-speed stealth craft, human torpedoes. With no land access to north of the country, Sea Tiger activities had posed severe threat to the sea lines of communication to north, particularly with the suicide boats. For most periods of the conflict, security forces and civilians in the Jaffna Peninsula mainly depended on the supplies through sea to the north. Sea lift of logistic and personal moves mainly from Trincomalee to north had to proceed with heavy convoy protection to counter Sea Tiger attacks. The Navy had a tremendous task in hand to maintain the sea lines of communications for more than 2 decades, which was the only lifeline to civilians and security forces in the north. The Sri Lanka Navy had been assisting the governmental and non-governmental organizations for a prolonged period to transfer food, essential items, medicine by sea to civilians in the northern area. These ships were protected against attack by LTT by way of escorting and providing onboard security teams of the Sri Lanka Navy during their passage to north. Even though protected, the LTT succeeded in attacking some of the ships carrying humanitarian cargo to north. What you can see on the slide is an actual incident where a merchant ship was attacked by a suicide LTT craft. The LTT attacked the ships with the aim of hindering the flow of aid to civilians in the affected areas and leaving room for the government to be blamed for not providing sufficient aid to civilians and to tarnish the good image of the government internationally. These assistance by the Navy continued during the period of the humanitarian operation too, by way of transferring food, medical items, general cargo and personnel by ships from Colombo and Trincomalee to Putumatalan, Mulivaikal and Kankasanture. During the final stage of the operation, many civilians escaped from the clutches of the LTT and arrived at Point Pedro and Pulmude by boats. These civilians were assisted ashore by naval personnel and required were provided with first aid. Towards the latter part of the conflict, the Sea Tigers used to launch about 15 Sea Tiger craft and another 8 to 10 suicide craft in one cluster, often mingling with the fishermen, to attack Sri Lanka Navy formations. The Black Sea Tiger suicide boats had to be identified and destroyed swiftly, as given time they would attack in a pack of 5 to 6 in one attempt to overwhelm the Navy craft. The suicide boats were having a very low profile, moving at 35 to 40 knots with armor-protected bow, and were extremely difficult to detect and engage. What you can see is an actual incident where one of our fast attack crafts were attacked by a suicide LTT craft. You can see the firing going on between the LTT craft and the Sri Lanka Navy craft, and 2 suicide boats approaching the Navy craft, and finally one achieving the target. In dealing with the LTT's Wolfpack attack, the Navy understood that it had to drastically innovate to meet this asymmetric threat posed by the Sea Tigers, as it had destroyed some of the naval ships and craft through this tactic. In response, a formidable firepower was provided on board fast attack craft with better day and night sensors. Also, in year 2007, a new wing of the Navy was commissioned, which consisted of a large number of very high-speed small attack craft known as the Rapid Action Boat Squadron, to fight alongside the Special Boat Squadron, which already existed in the Navy. What you can see is the Special Boat Squadron practicing their attack formations. The LTT's capability to launch 25 to 30 attack and suicide craft at one go was soon confronted with the Navy being able to launch 60 to 70 small attack craft of the Special Boat Squadron and Rapid Action Boat Squadron, along with the fast attack craft deployed in all strategic locations, and were engaged in combat successfully, negating the asymmetric nature of the LTT warfare. This set the trend to deny the seas for LTT illegal activities and also prevented the LTT cadres and their leadership from escaping through the sea route from Mullaitivu during the final phase of the humanitarian operation through an effective naval blockade. The LTT terrorist campaign totally depended on the arms and ammunition and other warlike material brought into the country through the sea route from various countries. Towards 2006, the LTT was using fishing trawlers to transfer warlike materials from their ships known as floating warehouses that were stationed far away from the coast of Sri Lanka. The Navy had no doubt that it was the utmost importance and priority to deny the sea route to the LTT to obtain their supplies and indulge in their terror campaign. Through good intelligence, the Navy monitored the movements and locations of the LTT ships that were loaded with military hardware. Due to the importance of the consignment of cargo and value to the LTT, they ensured to position some of their ships more than 1,000 nautical miles away from Sri Lanka. As the ships were out of the reach of the Sri Lanka Navy, the fleet had to improvise to a large extent and take calculated risks to proceed that far out to sea to locate these ships. What you will see on the screen now is how the Sri Lanka Navy destructed 8 LTT ships during the period 2006 to 2007 at the beginning of the humanitarian operation. The first ship was destroyed on 17 September 2006, around 350 nautical miles southeast of Sri Lanka. And this is the ship that was destroyed. The second ship was destroyed south of Sri Lanka, 730 kilometers away from our coastline on 18 February 2007. And this is the ship that was destroyed after the Sri Lanka Navy fleet had launched attack on the ship. The third and fourth ships were destroyed on 18th March 2007, 1,650 kilometers away from the Sri Lankan coast. And these are the two ships that were destroyed. Three ships were destroyed on between 10th and 11th September 2007 at a distance of 2,800 kilometers away from the coast of Sri Lanka. And these are the three ships that were destroyed. And the final ship was destroyed on 7th October 2007, 3,240 kilometers southeast of Sri Lanka. Ladies and gentlemen, if all the warlike material on these ships were transferred ashore, it would have had a great negative impact on the humanitarian operation. And also, if the Sea Tigers remained in existence, they would have had threatened the international sea lines of communication of Sri Lanka, creating a more dangerous situation to that of the Somalian pirates. Destruction of these ships ensured that the Navy had cut off the supply route of the LTT totally, which was the pivoting point that aided the Sri Lanka Army to further their objectives on land and finally succeed in accomplishment of the humanitarian operation victorious. Thank you.